It's tough when someone you care about goes silent, especially in a world where we're often conditioned to seek validation from others. But here's the thing, her ignoring you doesn't define your worth, and that's where Stoicism comes in. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can't control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond to them. In this video, we'll break down how to stay calm, maintain your emotional composure, and focus on what you can control. We'll explore key Stoic principles like detachment, emotional resilience, and self-mastery to help you shift the focus back to yourself. This mindset not only helps you deal with being ignored, but it also strengthens your character in all aspects of life. So if you've ever found yourself obsessing over someone's silence or trying to force an outcome, stick around. We're about to take control of your emotions and mindset, turning any challenge into an opportunity for growth. Let's get started. Number 1, why she's ignoring you and why it doesn't matter. You must understand this. When a woman ignores you, it is not a personal attack. It may feel that way. It may seem like a rejection of who you are, of the effort you have put into building a connection. Your mind instinctively searches for answers, analyzing past conversations, second-guessing your words and actions, wondering where you went wrong. But here's the truth. This is not about you. More often than not, it has nothing to do with anything you have done. Modern dating is filled with layers of mind games, silent tests, and unspoken power struggles. People, whether consciously or not, seek validation. And in that pursuit, they often manipulate the emotions of others. She may be ignoring you to see how much you care. She may be testing your patience, gauging your response, seeing if you will break under the weight of uncertainty. Or perhaps she is simply preoccupied, lost in the demands of her own life, her own priorities, her own distractions. I remember going through this myself. There was a time when someone I genuinely liked suddenly went cold. No explanations, just silence. I drove myself mad wondering what I had said or done wrong. But months later, I found out it had nothing to do with me. She was dealing with personal struggles I couldn't have known. That moment taught me that people's silence is more often a reflection of their own inner chaos than your worth. And yes, there is also the possibility that she is simply not as interested as you thought. But here is what matters. None of these reasons should concern you, because the moment you begin obsessing over her silence, you surrender control. You give her power over your emotions, allowing her actions, or lack thereof, to dictate your mood, your focus, even your self-worth. And in doing so, you place yourself in a position of neediness, of uncertainty, of waiting. This is where Stoicism becomes your armor. A Stoic man does not concern himself with the whims and inconsistencies of others. He does not measure his worth by how someone else responds to him. Instead, he understands one fundamental truth. He does not control others, he only controls himself. Her actions, her silence, her decisions, these are beyond your reach. You cannot dictate when or if she will respond. You cannot force someone to act in accordance with your expectations. But what you can control, what is always within your grasp, is your own response. You can choose to sit in frustration, to let unanswered messages consume your mind, to analyze every detail in search of an explanation. Or you can recognize this situation for what it is, a test of your discipline, your emotional strength, your ability to remain composed in the face of uncertainty. And when you choose control over chaos, when you master your reaction rather than let it master you, that is when you reclaim your power. Because at the end of the day, your peace is more valuable than her attention. When you stop seeking validation from someone who isn't offering it freely, you send a message, not just to her, but to yourself. You affirm that your worth is not up for debate. You move with self-respect, not desperation. And in doing so, you attract people who value you without needing to be chased. Number 2, master what you can. The power of calm and chaos. When someone pulls away or greets you with silence, your first instinct might be to chase clarity. You want to ask questions, seek answers, or somehow restore a sense of control. But what you're really doing is handing over your emotional balance to someone else. That urge to fix things externally is a trap, one that only deepens your reliance on validation from outside yourself. A man grounded in Stoicism doesn't fall for this illusion. He recognizes a core truth. Not everything is within his grasp. There are things you can change and things you can't. Her response, her silence, her attention, those are beyond your reach. Trying to force an outcome only reveals your inner instability. The more you chase, the more you expose that you're not in control. And that's where your strength begins to crack. What remains firmly within your control, however, is your reaction. And the most commanding response in times of uncertainty is stillness. Not to manipulate, not to draw attention, but to demonstrate a mastery of self. When you choose not to react, you aren't being passive, you're being powerful. In restraint, there is control. In silence, there is strength. By saying nothing, you're not conceding defeat. You're taking ownership. You send a message not to her, but to your own psyche. I am steady. I am enough. I don't beg for recognition to validate my value. Your worth is not up for negotiation, and it certainly isn't dependent on someone's attention span. Too many men lose themselves the moment they feel unseen. They chase closure, beg for connection, or spiral into doubt. But every act of desperation screams dependence, and dependence robs you of your freedom. A man rooted in purpose knows that emotions may rise and fall, but his direction does not shift. His mind stays clear. His mission stays firm. So when she ignores you, you don't fold. You don't overthink. You don't drown in the noise of what if. You keep moving forward. Keep working on yourself. Keep building your life. And as you do, you send the loudest message of all. I choose peace over chaos. I choose growth over games. I choose myself. Because real control isn't found in changing others. It's found in mastering your response to them. Number 3, the Stoic power move. In a world driven by noise and reaction, silence is a weapon few know how to wield. When someone ignores you, whether out of indifference, distraction, or emotional manipulation, your first instinct may be to respond, to chase, to reclaim control. But this is where most fall into a trap, because chasing after someone who's withdrawn is not strength, it's surrender. It's placing your peace in someone else's pocket. The Stoic man does not chase. He does not beg for clarity. He does not hinge his mood on another person's attention. Instead, he draws a hard line between what he can control and what he cannot. Her silence, out of your control. Her priorities, not yours to shape. But your response, that's yours entirely. And in that moment, when you choose composure over chaos, you make the Stoic power move. You don't react. You don't spiral. You don't reach out hoping to stir a response. You simply remain grounded. You carry on with your purpose, your mission, your values, because you know that real strength isn't loud. It's quiet, focused, disciplined. When she expects a reaction and receives none, you reveal your strength. When the world tries to pull you off balance and you stay centered, you prove your mastery. By doing nothing, you say everything. You show that your peace is not for sale, that your value isn't up for debate, that you are a man rooted in purpose, not performance. And in that silence, you rise above the noise. You send a message, not to her, but to yourself, that your validation comes from within. Many men break under the weight of uncertainty. They panic when ignored. They grasp for reassurance, but every time you react to inconsistency with desperation, you confirm your dependence. You let someone else define your emotional state, and that is a weakness the Stoic refuses to accept. So the next time you're ignored, dismissed, or tested, don't flinch, don't fold, don't fire back. Simply stand tall, stay quiet, and move forward. Let your silence echo louder than words. Let your self-control become your power play. Because in the end, the real flex isn't attention. It's detachment, it's discipline. It's choosing yourself without apology. Number 4, shift the focus back to you. When you're met with silence, your initial instinct may be to search for answers. You may want to reach out again, to fix things, or to regain a sense of control. But this reaction is rooted in the belief that someone else holds the key to your peace. The moment you start chasing their attention, you surrender your emotional control. You give away your power. A Stoic man doesn't fall into this trap. He knows that his strength lies in his ability to control his response. not in controlling others. The key to his power is simple. He understands that there are things within his control and there are things beyond his reach. Her silence, her choices, her attention, they are not for you to command. What you can control, however, is how you react to it. The most powerful move you can make in the face of uncertainty is to shift the focus back to you. Stop seeking validation from someone else. Stop measuring your worth based on their actions. Instead, choose to focus on what you can change. Your own mindset, your own behavior, your own path. You are the one who gets to decide how you feel. By doing nothing, you're actually doing everything. You're showing that your peace isn't tied to external approval. You're demonstrating that you don't need to chase someone's attention to feel worthy. You are enough regardless of their response. And in this silence, you reclaim your power. You prove to yourself that your happiness and emotional balance are your own responsibility, not anyone else's. Many men, when ignored, react with panic. They reach out, hoping to provoke a response. But in doing so, they expose their emotional dependence. They reveal that their mood and sense of self-worth are fragile, swayed by external forces. A Stoic man, however, remains steady. He moves through life grounded in his own identity, unaffected by others' actions. His confidence is unshaken because it comes from within. So when you find yourself ignored or dismissed, don't react. Don't let their silence dictate your emotions. Continue moving forward. Focus on your goals, your growth, your purpose. Shift the focus back to you. Let their silence fuel your inner strength. Choose self-mastery over desperation. Choose emotional independence over approval. Because at the end of the day, the only person whose opinion truly matters is yours. Number 5, detach from the outcome. In moments of uncertainty, when someone pulls away or ignores you, it's easy to feel the pressure to act. Your mind starts searching for answers, convincing you that you need to reach out, to fix the situation, to regain control. But the reality is that this urge is rooted in attachment to a specific outcome, to an expectation, or to a desired response. And when you're attached to the outcome, you lose your power. A Stoic man doesn't get lost in the outcome. He understands that attachment to how things should go only leads to frustration and loss of control. The key is to detach from the outcome. Whether or not she responds, whether or not she engages, those things are beyond your control. But your response, that's yours. And it's the only thing you can truly influence. When you detach from the outcome, you free yourself from the need for validation or reassurance. You stop defining your worth by someone else's actions or inactions. You take back control over your emotional state, recognizing that your peace comes from within, not from anyone else. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting the external world determine how you feel. You choose to remain steady, regardless of what happens on the outside. Doing nothing in the face of uncertainty is one of the most powerful actions you can take. You're not ignoring them. You're choosing to preserve your peace. You're sending a message, not to them, but to yourself. I don't need anyone's approval to know my worth. This self-mastery is what sets you apart. You stand firm in your own sense of self, unaffected by external forces. Many men, when ignored, panic. They reach out repeatedly, hoping for a sign, an explanation, or a response. But every time they do this, they reveal their emotional dependence. They let the silence dictate their mood, and they become slaves to the unpredictable behavior of others. A Stoic man, on the other hand, remains rooted in his own purpose. He doesn't bend or break based on external reactions. His sense of self is independent of anyone else's actions. So the next time you're met with silence or indifference, don't react. Don't chase the outcome. Detach from the need to control how things unfold. Focus on your own growth, your own path, your own journey. By detaching from the outcome, you reclaim your emotional independence. You stop seeking validation from external sources and choose to create peace from within. In the end, the most powerful thing you can do is this: detach from the outcome and let your own path unfold naturally. Letting go of the need to control the outcome gives you freedom, but it also requires discipline. It's about cultivating a mindset that's not swayed by temporary emotions or the unpredictable behavior of others. This is what sets the few apart from the many who seek strength. When faced with uncertainty, many men react impulsively. They overthink, chase after answers, and let their emotions drive their actions. In doing so, they hand over control and weaken their position, not just in relationships but in life. But this is not who you are. Not anymore. You now understand that real strength comes from maintaining your composure. A man who can control his emotions is unshakable. True power doesn't lie in manipulating others. It resides in self-mastery. From this moment onward, you don't react, you respond. You don't wait for validation, you create your own. You don't seek approval, you walk with confidence, knowing that your value is defined by you, not by the approval or attention of others. This is more than just learning how to deal with being ignored. It's about how you handle every challenge, every test, and every situation that tries to pull you off balance. Master your emotions, stand firm in your presence, and be the man who leads, not the one who waits. If this resonates with you, if you see the power in adopting this mindset, then commit to it now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, this is your moment.